I don't know if you're aware of the Children's Commissioner's report today in The Guardian, where it outlines some really stark realities of children across England. The fact that we have 4.5 million children in poverty, living in poverty, up to April last year. And I just wanted to read a quote from the report to you, Secretary of State, where it talks about the impact of poverty on some of those young children. It said, from the research, they spoke with candour about the things that most people would consider basic, but which for them are out of reach. A safe home that isn't mouldy, full of rats, a big bed enough to stretch out in, basic food like bacon, a place to do their homework, having the heating on, privacy in a bathroom and being able to wash, having their friends over and not having to travel hours to school, or having a local park to play where the grass isn't overgrown and unusable. The fact is, Secretary of State, we are going to build these homes hopefully to help those children. That will take time. But what's not helping those children now, linked to the fact that we won't see those homes being built tomorrow, is the freeze on the local housing allowance. That is continuing to push many families and children into poverty. Is the case still being made to have the local housing allowance reviewed?
Well, what I would say, Chair, is at the forefront of my mind in everything that I do, not least the pressures surrounding local government and some of the fundamental services they provide to children and young people, is the housing crisis that we've got. And we've got 165,000 children in temporary accommodation, and that's not acceptable in our country to be in those circumstances. And I've met with Arab's family a number of times about how we ended up in a situation where a young child lost his life because of the housing conditions that they faced. So there's been a number of priorities and pressures that we've been trying to alleviate. The work we're doing on homelessness, the building the homes that we desperately need, the work that we're doing to challenge landlords to make sure their houses are fit and habitable. But equally, there are also other pressures that families face. The government spends £34 billion per year on housing support, including £12 billion in private rental sector. And the local housing allowance rates were last increased in April of 2024, and that's £7 billion over 5 years. Look, I'm not here to defend the crisis that we inherited. What I'm saying is it will take us time to alleviate some of those pressures, but what I've focused on is both short-term in providing support to families, and we've done that across government, including with the Employment Rights Bill, the free breakfast clubs, the rollout of free school meals, as well as the over 3 million people getting an instant pay rise because of the changes we made to the minimum wage. And then longer term, looking at, the only way we're going to fix this crisis is not by giving more money to private landlords for people who should be in social housing. We need to have a social housing revolution, and that is why I've been so bold as to push for the biggest amount of increase in the Affordable Homes Programme alongside the rent convergence, which the market will tell you they've really welcomed this because they've been asking for years for us to make these changes, and previous governments have not allowed that to happen. We're very clear that we've got a short-term deal with the pressures that families face, and that's around the cost of living as well.